Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode on Heartmender. With me, your humble host, His Royal Majesty. In today's episode, we have an exciting conversation lined up. We will be talking on something that has been buzzing around quite a lot recently, expanding the concept of love languages. And to help us navigate this fascinating topic, we have with us here a relationship expert, an author of many relationship books, Dr. Eugene Miller. Nice to have you on our show today, Doctor.
Thank you, His Royal Majesty. It's great to be featured on your talk show today. I do hope we are able to do justice to the topic of discussion. Love languages are one of my favorite topics to discuss, especially now that we are seeing them evolve.
Absolutely. I hope so too. I think most people are familiar with the original 5 love languages Gary Chapman talked about. But now, there's this idea of love languages 2.0. Could you explain a bit about that for our listeners?
Of course. So, the original 5 love languages, words of affirmation, quality time, gifts, act of service, and physical touch, were great frameworks for understanding how we express and receive love. But, life, culture, and relationships are constantly evolving. People are starting to think outside these 5 categories, and personalize their love languages to better suit modern relationships. We're talking about acknowledging different preferences, like digital communication styles, humor, and even co-working as ways of expressing love.
Co-working as a love language? That's new. How does that fit in?
It's actually fascinating. A lot of couples these days find that working alongside each other, whether it's remote work or working on shared projects, can feel deeply connecting. It's about the experience of being productive together, sharing space, and motivating one another. Especially with more couples working from home, they're valuing the kind of connection that comes from teamwork, even in a professional setting.
I can see how that makes sense. You know, Doctor, I have also heard people say humor should be considered a love language. Tell me about that.
Oh, yes, humor is definitely a contender for the Love Languages 2.0 list. For many people, being able to share laughter is one of the most intimate forms of connection. It builds trust, eases tension, and creates a bond through shared experiences. Imagine a couple that goes through tough times but can still laugh together. It's that ability to lighten the moment that can be so powerful. I think the key is that these new love languages are really about acknowledging the small, often overlooked ways we show love every day.
I really like that. It feels more adaptable and real, I guess. It's not one size fits all, right? Everyone has different experience and different ways of connecting.
Exactly, His Royal Majesty. The idea behind Love Languages 2.0 is to encourage couples to have open conversations about what actually makes them feel loved. Maybe it's not gifts or words of affirmation, but instead, sharing meals, cooking together, or giving each other space when needed. Relationships are unique, so we need unique expressions of love to make them work.
You make a great point. I think a lot of people get caught up trying to fit into the original 5 categories. And maybe it doesn't always work for them. It's about understanding your partner, right?
That's it. It's all about individualizing how we love. The original 5 love languages gave us a starting point, but the expansion is about acknowledging that everyone is different and what works for one couple may not work for another. The best thing we can do is stay curious about our partners and ourselves, keep communicating, and adapt as we grow.
Beautifully said, Dr. Eugene. I'm sure our listeners are taking notes right now. Before we wrap up, do you have any quick advice for couples trying to figure out their own new love language?
Sure, my biggest advice is to have a conversation. Sit down with your partner and talk about what makes you feel appreciated, even if it's something unconventional. Maybe it's receiving surprise playlists or getting a partner's support on a creative project. Whatever it is, name it, talk about it, and make it a part of your relationship. And don't be afraid to keep experimenting.
That's wonderful advice. Thank you so much, Dr. Eugene Miller, for being here and sharing all these insights with us today.
Thank you, His Royal Majesty. It was a pleasure.
And thank you to our listeners for tuning into Heartmender today. Remember, love comes in many forms. Just make sure it's yours. We'll catch you next time when we will be looking into yet another interesting and trending topic on relationships. I remain your humble host, His Royal Majesty, the Heartmender. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel at HRM_Heartmender. Like our talk shows, turn on the notification bell so that you don't miss any of our new shows, and also share our shows to your friends and loved ones. Don't forget, someone out there could be in a certain situation that our topics of discussion could just be what they need to save their relationship. Thank you very much and bye-bye.